All right. Chris and I are here working on the KLR, and we're going to install the Cherry Bomb LED light for the KLR Gen 1. Yep, we've got our 2002 here that we left off with in the last video, so we're going to pick it back up on this video and give you a quick tutorial on how to do this install in probably less than 5 minutes. So, Todd, you want to grab the phone and bring it on over, and we'll go ahead and get started. All right, guys, so last time we left off, we kind of gave you a breakdown of this light, how it's engineered, the holder here, the actual stock H4 connection plate that goes onto this light. And we've got our factory boot here, which on the Gen 1 is notched out at the top with a top mark. As you can see, if we can get the camera to focus, it says top right here where my index finger is. Right there, see that?
Oh yeah, now I can see it.
And then the arrow is right there.
Yep.
So that's going to go towards the sky, and then this is going to be the left-hand side of the bike, and this will be the right-hand side of the bike, just like it was installed factory. So let's go ahead and move up to the front of the bike, and what we've decided to do is to go ahead and do this install in a very methodical fashion by putting this plate in the bike first, so that we have no issues getting the factory retaining little swing arm that comes over top to hold the bulb in place over top of this. So we're going to go ahead and put this piece in the bike first, which is then going to enable us to lock this in, and then we're going to come along afterwards and we're going to put the boot over top of this, followed by the insertion of the light into this grooved notch channel, which is where our lock is, and then the lock with the light with the fan will lock into place here.
And we also want the when this bulb goes in, we want the wire to be downward.
Right.
And that allows these little mirrors on the tip facing down.
Right.
Yeah, so you want this part down. The main thing is the wire is going to be going downward.
That's correct.
Pushed in this way.
That's correct. And when you actually insert it in here, as you can see here, our little offsets here, this goes in the bike just like this. This being the front of the bike, this being the back of the bike. So when you insert this, you're going to go in at basically a 2 and 8 o'clock position. So you're going to go in like this, and then it's going to go together, and then you're going to lock it moving back in a counterclockwise fashion. And again, you can see that articulated in the first video as well. So let's go ahead and get this plate in the bike. We've taken the little plastic shroud, which is held on by two 10mm bolts. We've taken that out just to give us a little bit more visibility here and a better camera vantage point for what I'm doing for the install. So I'm going to go ahead and slip this plate into the H4 hole, and then I'm going to bring this lever over. Now, one thing we found is when we attempt to now lock, because that metal is thicker than the factory H4 bulb, we notice that our little pin that's right here needs a very slight tweak, and that is to move it in the direction of the right-hand side of the bike. And the reason for that is that when you bring this down and back up, if you don't make a very slight bend and point that little piece of metal that holds this lever down more towards the right-hand side of the bike, this is not completely locked underneath of the little tooth that holds it in place. So this is very easily bendable. Be very careful when you bend this. It only needs to be moved a couple of degrees over to the right. So we've gone ahead and done that in this video, and as you can see, we are locked down now. This receiver is in the receptacle, and it's not going anywhere. And you can see that these little notches are at the 2 and 8 o'clock position, ready for the light to be installed. So now we're going to bring our boot in place, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our boot over top of this. And what you want to do is get this lip of the boot over top of this, so that this fits down over top of it and is out of the way of the bulb trying to lock in place. So you come in here, you just kind of have to work it and get this on like so. I think I'm in there. I don't feel any rubber in my way. And we've got it turned to where the arrow is pointing to the top. So we're ready to go ahead and put our bulb in. And now we're going to come in here real carefully, and we're going to put our bulb in. Remember, the cable needs to be at the bottom. You can use this little piece on the top of the bulb as your indicator of where you are. And remember, our locking points are at 2 and 8 o'clock. And there it is. She's in. I'm going to push it in. I'm going to lock it in the counterclockwise position, and we're in. The install is done. The only thing left to do now is to hook up your H4 lead on your bulb to your factory H4 lead, which has disappeared on me and gone right here.
Okay.
And we're now going to insert like so and push these together like that. And you can use zip ties or what have you to securely fasten this somewhere and get it out of the way. And that is pretty much the install. Now everything is complete. We're going to do another video where we show you this bike, low beam and high beam, in comparison to another KLR, the 2006, just like this, Gen 1 with the stock H4 bulb in it, to show you the difference between this LED and the standard H4 halogen. We're now complete, you know, by putting this little piece of plastic back in here, and you're done.
Yep.
And that's the install, Todd.
So we'll see you on part 3.